Okay, boys. Then let's get some web development going on. Okay. Let's see what can we do. What can we do? Learning with design, adding images, inline things. Okay, was I done with images? Don't really remember now. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Okay, creating text with alt, yes. Done. I had that. Okay. Okay. Okay, I was titled text. So it's a tooltip when you use a moves of the image. Nice. Okay. Table markup. Now we are entering tables. What are tables? How do we deal with them all? So before we launch into the markup for tables, let's check in with our progress. Okay. Let's check in with our progress so far. We've covered a lot of territory. How to establish the basic structure of an HTML document, how to mark up text to give it meaning and structure, how to make links, and how to embed images on the page. This chapter and the next chapter, chapter 9 forms, describes a markup of specialized content that you might not have need for right away. If you're getting and see, what is and see? What does it mean by and see? And see me. And see is impatient or okay, agitated. So if you're getting antsy to make your pages look good, skip right to part 3 and start playing with cascading style sheets. Right now, what's up? Alright. I start playing with cascading style sheets. The tables and forms chapter will be here when you're ready for them. It's so good. Let's talk tables. We'll start out by reviewing how tables should be used. Then learn the elements we use to create them. And let's talk tables. We'll start by reviewing how tables should be used. Then learn the elements used to create them with markup. Remember, this is an HTML chapter, so we're going to focus on the markup, that structure. Remember, this is an HTML chapter, so we're going to focus on the markup that structures the content into tables, and we won't be concerned with how the tables look. Right. How the tables look. Like any web, like any web content, the appearance or presentation, as we say in the web dev, of tables should be handled with style sheets, which you'll learn about in chapter 18, CSS techniques. Okay. All right. So, how tables are used? HTML tables were created for instances when you need to add tabular material, data arranged in rows and columns to a web page. Tables can be used to organize calendars, schedules, statistics, or other types of information. Note that data doesn't necessarily mean numbers. A table may contain any sort of information, including numbers, text elements, and even images or multimedia objects. Okay, so element A, link, element description, categories, parents, page URL, targeting. Okay, this is an example of a table. We get this in a table, and hence this is a table. So the troubles with tables. Large tables, such as those shown in figure 8.1, can be difficult to use on small screen devices. By default, they are shrunk to fit the screen width, rendering the text in itself too small to be read. Yeah. Users can zoom in to read the search. It's an email cells may be visible at a time, and it is difficult to parse the organization of headings and columns. To be honest, as of this writing, we are just starting to figure out how best to handle tabular material on small screen. One approach is to replace a table with a graphic representation, such as a pie chart, on a mobile device. Of course, this will work only for certain types of tables. For simple 2-3 columns table, consider using DL representation list, DL list to represent the information instead for more flexibility. Am I short? Am I doing good? Yep, we're all good. Uh, Another approach is to put an indication of the table, such as an image of the top of it that links to a separate screen with a full table for those who are interested. Chris Coyer proposes a clever solution in his article Responsive Derivatives that describes how to use a CSS query format to reformat the table as a long, narrow list that fits better in a smartphone screen. See also the clever solutions proposed by. There may be new solutions by the time you read this, but it is important to always keep the mobile small screen experience in mind. Any? Okay. In visual browsers, the arrangement of data in rows and columns give readers an instant understanding. Well, what is this? My eye is aching. Okay. In visual browsers, the arrangement of data in rows and columns gives readers an instant understanding of the relationship between data cells and their respective header labels. Right? Bear in mind when you are creating tables, however, that some readers will be hearing your data read aloud with a screen reader or reading braille output. Later in this chapter, we will discuss measures you can take to make the table content accessible to users who don't have the benefit of visual presentation. Okay. So, in the days before style sheets, tables were the only option for creating multi-column layouts or controlling alignment and white spaces. Ah, interesting. Layout tables, particularly the complex nested table arrangements that were once a standard web design fare, have gone the way of the dodo. This chapter focuses on HTML tables as they are intended to be used in minimal table structure. Let's take a look at a simple table to see what it's made of. Okay, we have a table content. There's a table row and this is a table head. Okay, let's take a look at a simple table to see what it's made of. Here's a small table with 3 rows and 3 columns that lists nutrition information, menu item, calories and fat, chicken noodle soup 120, 2 grams, Caesar salad 400 calories. Yeah. So to review the structure of this table according to the HTML table model. Okay, this is the table. Then we have a row, header cell, header cell, header cell, row, data cell, data cell. Okay. Review the structure of this table according to HTML table model. All of the table's content goes into cells that are arranged into rows. Cells contain either header information, titles for the columns, such as calories or data, which may be any sort. Okay, so this first row contains only the header cells, and then the second row contains the data. Simple enough. Simple enough, right? Now let's look at how those parts translate into elements. Okay, we have this table, and we have a row, and within this we have table header. So we terminate the row, we start another row, and there is table data. Shows the elements that identify the table rows, table header, table data. Cells cells are the heart of the table because that's where the actual content goes. The other elements that hold things together. Okay. Then what we don't see are column elements. See column elements. There are two column-related elements in HTML file: column for identifying a column and column group for establishing related groups of columns. They were created to add a layer of information about the table that could potentially speed up its display, but they are not part of HTML's source-centered table model. Okay, let's keep that in mind. The number of columns in a table is determined by the number of cells in each row. This is one of the things that make HTML tables potentially tricky. Rows are easy. If you want the table to have 3 rows, just use 3 tr elements. Columns are different. For a table with 4 columns, you need to make sure that every row has 4 td or th elements. Yes. Written out in a source document, the markup for the table would look like the following example. It's common to stack th and td elements in order to make them easier to find the source. Okay. This does not affect how they are rendered by the browser. Alright. So remember, okay, so we start a table, then within we start a row, then these are the headers, then we finish the second row, element, second row, element. Okay. Remember, all the components must go in cells, that is within TD or TH element. You can put any content in a cell, text, a graphic, or even another table. Okay. Start and end table tags are used to identify the beginning and end of a tabular material. The table element will directly contain only some number of row elements. The only thing that can go in the TR element is some number of TD or TH elements. In other words, there may be no text content within the table and TR elements that, in other words, there may be no text content within the table and TR elements that isn't contained. Okay, so we will not put any text element outside. These are the headers. Okay, so any text cannot go outside if it is not within th or t. Finally, figure 8.4 shows how the table would look in a simple web page as displayed by default in the browser. Figure 8.4. It is 8.4. Okay, this is the table, right? I know. Okay, I know it's not exciting. Excitement happens in the CSS chapter. What is worth noting is that tables always start with a new line by default in browser. Okay. So advanced table elements. The sample table in this section has been stripped down to its bare essentials. The sample table in this section has been stripped down to its bare essentials to make its structure clear while you learn how the table works. It is worth noting, however, that there are other table elements and attributes that offer more complex semantic descriptions and improve the accessibility of table content. A thoroughly marked up version of the theme table might reflect table caption. Okay, column, column group ID. Okay, P head. Okay, column item name gallery spread. Scope column cool and scope of column that. Okay, group elements. We types of rows as belonging to a header, footer, the body of a table using the T head, T foot, and T body elements respectively. Some user agents on the workbook browsing tools may repeat the header and footer rows on the table that span multiple pages. Authors may also use these elements to apply styles to various features of the table. The head, it's the header, and this is the body of the table. Okay. Column group elements. Columns can be identified with whole element or put into groups using this is useful for adding semantic context to information in columns and may be used to calculate the width of tables more quickly. To decide there is no content in the column elements, it just describes the column before the actual table data begins. Okay. Accessibility features. Accessibility features such as captions for providing descriptions of tables, content in the scope, and header attributes for explicitly connecting headers with the respective content are discussed here in the chapter. An in-depth exploration of the advanced table elements across the scope of this book, but you may want to do research. Yeah, okay. According to HTML5 spec, a table may contain in this order: optionally, a caption element followed by 0 or more grouped, followed by optionally a T head element, followed optionally by T foot element, followed either by 0 or more T body elements, or one or more TR elements, followed optionally by T foot element. T foot, I feel like, but there can only be one T foot element styled in code. Got all that? Sure. Okay. Default rendering of it. So here's the source. Here's a source for another table. Can you tell how many rows and columns it will have when it's displayed? Okay. 1, 2, 3. 2 rows, 3 columns. If you guessed it's a table with 2 rows and 3 columns, you're correct. 2 T elements create 2 rows and 3 TD elements each of create 3 columns. Right. Okay. Static tables. Once you build the structure of the table in the markup, it's no problem adding a layer of style to customize its appearance. Style sheets can and should be used to control these aspects of the table's visual presentation. We'll get to all the formatting tools you'll need in the following chapters. Okay. Table headers. As you can see in figure 8, the text marked up as th element is displayed differently from other cells in the table. Yeah. Tables. The difference, however, is not purely cosmetic. The table headers are important because they provide information or context about the cells in the row or column they precede. The th element may be handled differently than TDs by alternative browsing devices. For example, screen readers may read the header loud for each data set. Okay. And we have okay, excellent. In this way, they are a key tool for making table content accessible. Okay, in this way, they are a key tool for making table content accessible. Don't try to fake headers by formatting a row of TD elements differently than the rest. Okay. Conversely, don't avoid using PH elements because of their default rendering code incentive. Mark up the headers semantically and change the presentation of the style. Wait. Okay. Wait. That covers the basics. Before we get fancier, try R. Okay. Try writing a markup. Try writing the markup for the table shown in figure 5. You can open a text editor or just write down it on paper. The finished markup is provided automatically. Note that I've added a 1 pixel border around the cell in the style sheet. This will make the structure clear. You won't include this in your version. Be sure to close all the table elements. Technically, you're not required to close the TR, but okay. Should get in the habit of writing tight source code, maximum predictability across tables. Suggest to write documents using XHTML syntax, closing table elements to require in order for the document to be valid. Okay, then in the 8th chapter, do I have exercise 1? Do I exercise 5? Yeah. Chapter 8. What is the name of the chapter? Table master. Okay. Styles 2.1. Let's create okay. So let me just to the left. Then we start with head. The title simple tip. Start with the body. Abbey Road. Okay, so let's just start with the table, right? People, and then we will write the starter row, and within the row, let's table headers. Okay, we have the album, and then we have year. Then I'll start another row, and then I'll write the data, which is _, and 1968. And then we just copy paste this. Revolver 1966. Then we have Sergeant Pepper's 1967. Then we have the White Album 1968. secondary arrow 1960. Let's try to open this and that's great. Okay. Now I'm on 157. Let me jump to index A and let's look for my answer. Okay, perfect. Yeah, nice. 7 and here we go. The spanning cells. One spanning cells. One fundamental feature of table structure is cell spanning. Is the voice going fine? Okay, good. One fundamental feature of table structure is cell spanning, which is the stretching of a cell to cover several rows or columns. Okay. Spanning cells allows you to create complex table structures, but it has the side effect of making the table markup a little more difficult to keep track of. You make a header or data cell by adding the column span or row span attribute. Okay. Columns. Column span created with pool span attribute in the TP or each element stretch a cell to the right to span over subsequent column. Okay. Here a column is used to make a header apply to two columns. Okay. Such a required as such a border of the cell to reveal the table structure was mentioned. Okay, good. Notice in the first row TR that there is only one TH element, while the second row has two TD elements. The TH for the column that was spanned over is no longer in the source. The TH for the column that was spanned over is no longer in the source. The cell with column span stands in it. Got it. Right. Every row should have the same number of cells or equivalent column span values. For example, there are two TD elements for the pole sign value 2. So the implied number of columns in each row is equal. Implied number of columns. Okay. Alright. Now I have to do this. Okay, column spans. Try. We just provide this pole span. Okay. Try writing a markup for the table shown here. You can open a text editor. For it, reveal the structure. Final. CV. Okay, simplicity say the table uses all 3D elements. The second row. The second row shows you that table has a total of 3 columns. Well, it is also table has a total of 3 columns. Whereas self-span over, its TD element does not appear in the okay, so I will get on to mix HTML. table. Then I have 3 table headers. Right. So we'll start the first row. So when we have 7:30 p.m. Okay, so 7:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. Then in second row we have the Sunday night movie. आया रुक जा. Okay. Okay. So I terminate this. Then I have a single PD element which spans 3 rows, like 3 columns, spans 3, and its value is the Sunday night movie. Then I have another this row, row here, and it has 3 table data. Very missing. We have candid camera. The camera, and then we have what's my line. Okay. Let's start another row. And then Bonanza and Bacchius shift the arm. Bonanza. We start this one for 2 rows. The Bacchius shift the arm. And that's my table. See it? Yep. And over here, great. Let's and at page number 158. Let's turn to the appendix. Let's look for the answer. 58 challenges equals that 3 equals that. Great. 58. Okay. The row spans. Row spans created with the row span attribute work just like column spans, but they cause the cell to span downward over several rows. For example, the first cell in the table spans down 3 rows. Okay. Okay. So we have serving files. Okay. So and then it can okay. Small. This is the header. Okay, and besides that we have the data. Again. Okay, yeah, header. Okay, so this is the horizontal data. You can notice the TD elements for the cell that we spanned over. First cell in the remaining group do not appear in the so the row span 3 implies right. Okay, row spans. Okay, I wanted to press. Okay, row span right side 3. 5 3 start 35 Head with our title head, we have body, let's see the table first. Then okay, in the first row, I'll span this element, I'll span this both heroes, and I'll add this element. Right, in the first row. In the second row, okay. We can add a row. Apples. And I want oranges to span through there. And then I have bears. Then we'll start another row. Bananas. And then oranges, we'll leave oranges and let's go to directly to pineapples. I think, but it's just related, it is spanning through, so it won't add it here. It could obviously add it here. TT so span equals to pineapple. Then the last row I have lychees. Lychees. Okay, let's see this. Yeah, apple, banana, oranges. Okay. So let me just quickly check the appendix. Okay, the video is going 3 is going to end. Okay, great. Okay, so that's done. Space in between cells. By default, cells are sized just large enough to fit the content, but often you'll want to add a little breathing room around the able content. Because spacing in matter representation is the job for style sheet. Cell padding is the space Cell padding is the space inside the cell between the content and the edge of the cell. To add cell padding, apply spaces padding property. The cell spacing the area between cells is a little more complicated. First, set the border collapse property for the table to separate, then use border spacing property to specify. This technique won't work in internet stores like whatever. In the past, cell padding and spacing were hindered by the cell padding as within the table element selectivity, but they have been made obsolete in HTML5 due to their reputational nature. Okay. Any notes here? No. Okay. Then we move on to table accessibility. Table accessibility. As a web designer, it is important that you always keep in mind how your site's content is going to be used by non-sighted visitors. as a web designer, it is important. As a web designer, it is important that you always keep in mind how your site's content is going to be used by non-sighted visitors. It is especially challenging to make sense of tabular material using a screen graph, but there are measures you can take to improve the experience in making your content more understandable. Okay. Describing table elements. The first step is to simply provide a description. Am I just finishing table accessibility? Almost going to finish chapter. Describing table content. The first step is to simply provide a description of the table's content and perhaps the way it is structured if it is out of ordinary. Use the caption element to give a table a title or brief description that displays next to the table. You can use it to describe the table's contents or provide hints on how it's structured. When used, the caption element must be the first thing within the table element. What is the note here? Included a summary attribute of the table element that is used for providing long descriptions to assistive devices while hiding them from visual bugs. However, it is omitted from HTML5 figure validation error. The caption is displayed above the table. The caption is displayed above the table by default, shown. Although you can use a stylish property, caption size. Okay. For longer descriptions, you could consider putting the table in a bigger element using a caption element or HTML5 classification has a number of suggestions for providing table descriptions, which you can find here. Connecting cells and headers. We discussed headers briefly as a straightforward method of providing the accessibility or improving the accessibility of table content. Sometimes it may be difficult to know which header applies to which cell. For example, headers may be at the left or right edge of a row rather than at the top of a column. Although it may be easier for sighted users to understand a table structure at a glance, for users, hearing the data text alone. The scope attribute associates a table header with a row, column, or body column in which it appears using the values rows, column, row group, or column group respectively. Scope, row, column appears in this. This example uses the scope attribute to declare that a header rise to the current row. Okay, this header only applies to this row. Okay, got it. Headers. For very complicated tables in which scope is not sufficient to associate a table data cell, with its respective header, such as when the table contains multiple span cells, the header attribute is used. The headers attribute is used. The TD. Okay, I think the idea is I can say this belongs to this header. Okay. This section is obviously only the tip of the iceberg of table accessibility. In-depth instruction on ordering accessible tables is beyond the scope of this big book. If you'd like to learn more, I recommend creating accessible tables with AIM. We're wrapping up tools. This chapter gives you a good wrapping up tables tools. This chapter gave you a good overview of the components of HTML tables. So it puts most of what we covered Size and purpose. Most of what we covered together to give you a little more practice in ordering tables. After just a few exercises, you're probably getting the sense that writing table markup manually, although not impossible, gets tedious and complicated quickly. Fortunately, we have ordering tools such as Dreamweaver coding interfaces that make the process much easier and time efficient. Still, you'll be glad that you have solid understanding of table structure and terminology, as well as the preferred methods for changing a table's appearance. Okay, the table charge. Right. Let me drink a glass of water. Okay, boys, we are back. So now the table charge. Now it's simple. Now it's time to put simple. Now it's time to put together the table writing skills you have acquired in this chapter. Your challenge is to write up the source document for the table shown in figure 812. Okay. I think that's easy. I can do that. Okay. I'll walk you through this. I'll walk you through it one step at a time. First, open a new document in your text editor and set up its overall structure. Save it as table.cell84. Getting it all together. This body, the body, we start with title. Okay. Next, in order to make the boundaries of the cell and table clearer, please check your work. I'm going to have you add some simple style sheet rules to the document. Don't worry about understanding exactly what's happening here. Although it's fairly intuitive, just insert the style element in the head of the document exactly. Okay, so we'll just go style. Okay, after the title, yeah. Okay, now it's time. So it's time to start building the table. I usually start by setting up the table and adding as many empty rows elements, I'll need the finite table as placeholders. Okay, so I will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we will add a table with 5 rows. Start the top row and fill in th. Okay, empty th 2 rows. Okay, it is spanning 2 rows. It is element from the left to right, including any row or column spans as necessary. Okay, so in the first row, okay, I have an empty th that spans 2 rows. Then I have a common header for 2 subheads. This is the first row. Then the cell in the second column is empty. And okay, we have added this in the second row. The cell in the second column of the first row spans a width of 2 columns, so get its own span. Then I added another th element with it is spanning 2 columns. Same span equals 2 and a common header for 2 subheads. Common header for 2 subheads. Then I have another header, but I think I will add this here. Okay, then we have another header with 3, which is spanning 2. So span equals to this is header 3. This is my first row. Then in the second row, I only have 2 headers, header 1 and header 2. Header 1 and header 2. So in this row, I have th, header 1, and header 2. Then I have in the third row, I have th and 3 t's. Th, which is string A, and I have table data. Data is 1, and then data A2, data A2, 3. Then similarly here we have another th, we have another th with thing B, right? Then I have data B1, B2, B3, B2, B3, and finally I'll just copy this, go here, paste it here. And that's all, right? Yeah, okay. Test yourself. Cosine, header name, yeah. Scope, header, source span, right, caption, concurrent property, quality, Okay, great. Then we move on to the forms. Now let me just take a look at this table. Nice. Looks exactly like that. Wait. Exactly like this, right? Your content here. Okay, I have to add a caption. Your content here. I should add a caption in the table. Here, caption or content here. Nice. Okay. Good. And I finished the chapter and we'll call it a day. That's all.